Phillips being dubbed the queen of YikesRadio.com here in the beautiful Inglewood, California, everybody. So thankful to Mr. Kevin Nash. And I'd like to give a very special shout out to my sister, aka the benefactor, Miss Lori G of Ginger Productions and Entertainment Company.
Hey, y'all.
How are you tonight, beautiful?
I am okay. We are back in studio. Look at us. I'm trying to make it happen.
God, I'm so freaking excited. I can't breathe, y'all. Listen to this shit. It sounds so good. And then I'd like to give a very other special shout out to our other sponsorship, ladies and gentlemen. That is WMPJ Steelworks. Shout out to the Man of Steel. And then, everybody, I got to give a very special shout out to G Babies Catering. Shout out to Macario Rosales because he just recently become an LLC, everybody.
Yes.
LLC, everybody. So he's doing his own thing and he's flying high and we having a good time in the studio tonight. And ladies and gentlemen, I got to give a very special shout out to the ladies of the chat who are with us each and every third Saturday here on the Poetry of Justice Show. That's Shelly C, Tanya Michelle, Lori G, Jackie Ray. And it's just what we do, everybody, because we're back in the studio, ladies and gentlemen. It's been 7 months since we've been on this mic, everybody, and it's time to shine. And I'm going to give you guys the best of what I got because tonight I got to just give one more thanks to APS Muscle Cars, ladies and gentlemen. APS Muscle Cars. This guy is hot. He's hot, everybody. Memo, MEMOAPS, musclecars.com. And that is us. We are here, the Poetry of Justice Show. JackieRay Phillips, Yikes Radio, and Celebrity Radio, in the studio, about to show out. Hello, Rashid. How are you tonight?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing beautifully well. It's so good to see you in person. It was always a treat to see you in the Zoom room box. But it's nothing like face to face and eye to eye. So thank you so much for communing with us tonight.
Not a problem. Always good to be here. Always glad to be here.
I appreciate you. And Lori G, how are you tonight, my queen?
Well, I'm trying to put to use my multitasking skills here.
All right.
Trying to get us set up in terms of our technology. But I'm super duper excited.
Super duper excited.
Exactly.
Well, Lord, let's before, because we've got an amazing night tonight. And once I turn this over to the king, to the star of our show tonight, we never going to get this train back. So, because it's phenomenal. Look at him over there smiling over there. So we're going to make it happen, ladies and gentlemen, because this gentleman beyond deserves it. He's great. So, but Lori G, tonight, you, Yikes Radio, Accelerated Radio. Tell us what it's like for you being back in the stew.
It is exhilarating.
Yeah.
It is. It's exciting to be back. The lights and the mic and running around, and I always get that anxiety before we actually go live. So that's exciting.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to say before I start, and I'm going to ask the Lord to let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be pleasing unto the will of God for our lives tonight. Because the gentleman who is with us tonight is nothing short of a miracle. There's many words that have come to mind, and I only had an opportunity to read one of the briefs associated with this phenomenal story, and it's going to be multidimensional on so many levels. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome and introduce to some and just continue to be blessed by him to others, none other than the Mr. Jimmy Dennis.
How y'all doing?
How are you tonight, Jimmy?
How you doing, Jackie? How you doing, Lori?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. Good.
What I was thinking about doing is just saying, you know what, because Jimmy, life is what it is, and you know that. And I have a plethora of information. If you kind of take a look here, I have the briefing, and this is Dennis versus Wetzel. I have about 7 pages worth of notes based on our pre-interviews and right. So I know, and I was explaining to my sister, she's been really, really busy at work this week, and she had an opportunity to take some of the viewings, but what I promised her was that she would have an opportunity to give first dibs of private time with you because I've been blessed to speak with you privately, pre-interview style. But is it all right with you if you can just share a little bit of time with Lori G, the executive producer, right now?
That is fine. That is
Awesome
fine
sauce.
with me. Come on with
All
it.
right, Lori G.
Hey, Jimmy.
How you doing,
I
sir?
I'm doing good. You're looking great. That beautiful smile. That's one
No.
thing.
Thank
That
you.
you are such a celebrity here. I googled you and like
He said,
500 different things came up. And I'm like, look at that. Every time you got that immaculate smile that's going on. Exactly. So I've got so many questions for you that
Mhm.
are comprehensive. But I think what we want to do, maybe before we kind of jump right into those in depth kind of questions, is to give our listeners an overview of your story. I mean, I was so moved by your story. And don't leave out the music part because I was like Googling for. Your group sensation to see if there was anything on there that I could pull up because you talk so passionately about this group and where you guys were in your progression, and then all hell broke loose. So if you could start with a little bit and let our listeners know about your love for music, where that came from, and then your incredible story.
Amen.
Um, I grew up in Philadelphia. Um, Project called Abbotsford Projects in North Philadelphia. Music was always my passion.
Mm.
My dad was a musician. He played with some notable acts in gospel and in R&B. My aunt sung on background records for Dee Dee Sharp, Philadelphia International, Bobby Rydell, and Chubby Checker, so on and
Wow.
so forth.
Oh, wow.
And so when I was a kid,
Mhm.
I started my own singing group called Sensation, and we went about the city of Philadelphia being in talent shows and went to some other cities and and made some noise. And then we had interest from record labels before I was stolen away.
Wow.
And
Right.
that's where the story sort of
Yeah.
begins. At the tender age of 21 is when I was stolen away for a crime I didn't commit. And that's where the story begins.
Mm.
Mm.
I just wanted to ask you a question too. Though I'm gonna jump in. We're just gonna get in and just do it and get dirty.
Hmm.
The date. I have a date that I have a couple of dates that I want to throw out to you. But
Yeah.
October 1992. What does October 1992 mean to you when you hear that right now against the membrane?
For me, is when I was on trial and then I was convicted and I was sentenced with the death penalty. So that's what October is for me, 1992. That was the most depressing and devastating time in my life, but more importantly, in my family's life, and in my friends' life. We were just totally, our world was just rocked, totally rocked into a different stratosphere. No one could ever see anything like that coming um, towards me or towards my family and friends. Yeah.
I know, I know, I don't know. That was just it's so much that stands out to me. Lori, yes. Can you imagine 25 and a half years of your life being stolen away from you? And I came up with the word kidnapping, but maybe that wasn't necessarily a proper word, Jimmy, after I began to read through some of the court documentation. But in specific, ladies and gentlemen, there is something that I behoove all of you to do and just to do some research because we talk about phenomenal stories that get airtime and like the Khalif Browder story. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about the Jimmy Dennis story. This story has been told to some very important individuals, and I'm very grateful and blessed as the Poetry of Justice show to be able to be one of those top notch individuals that's blessed to have this exclusive time with you. I want to know if everybody could just, when you take your time, there's something that is called August 21, 2013, a civil action, the United States District Court of Pennsylvania, Dennis versus Wetzel. And reading this information has revolutionized my passion for criminal justice and why I do what it is that I so love to do, and the opportunity to be able to do what we do here in the Poetry of Justice show. These stories are so very tender and so very real and precious. But what I want to know specifically, Jimmy, is the psychological effects being such a young person, 21 years old, being halted in and stolen away and kidnapped for something that you weren't even there. How does that how did that take you at that time? Can you recall some of that for us?
Yeah, so I'm 21 years old. When I hear my name in any type kind of wrongdoing, I do what everybody has this thing
Mhm.
that they say innocent people are supposed to do. And so every single thing that everyone says an innocent person is supposed to do, I did. When I heard my name um, mixed up in this horrible crime, I went down to the police station. I signed in. I sat for hours, and they said they didn't want to talk to me because I couldn't believe that my name could come up in anything like that,
Mhm.
period, point blank. So then you fast forward to the trial and everything that I'm going through. My whole world is turned upside down, but I wasn't a man yet. When you're
Mhm.
21 years old, you're a young man, but you're not a man yet. You're entering and coming into your manhood. And
Mhm.
so I entered into prison. I had never been locked up before in my entire life. A
Mhm.
significant, I don't have a significant criminal history at all,
No.
right? So it's my first time being in prison. And not only that, my head is on a swivel
Hmm.
because everybody hates me for the crime that took place because they have a preconceived notion
Yeah.
about who they believe that I am, and I'm not that person.
Yeah.
And so I had the guards
Hmm.
trying to set me up, and I had the inmates trying to kill me. So for me, I felt everything, I felt every array of emotion that you can imagine one could feel. I felt fear, I felt panic, I
Mm.
felt I felt despair, I
Hmm.
felt depression, anxiety, and but I also had faith and hope
Mhm.
that the truth would come out.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, in prison is a jungle.
Hmm.
So you have you have to defend yourself and become a wolf and a lion, or
Hmm.
you're gonna be somebody's prey.
Mm.
I refuse to be anybody's prey, right?
Right.
So I had to deal with all that. I had to reconcile everything that was going on in my life at that time, not only dealing with the fact that everybody in prison want me dead, but
Mm.
then the court system wants me dead, and I'm fighting two different fights at the same time and trying to keep my sanity.
Right.
Right.
So I had to
Jimmy,
keep the faith.
I hate to interrupt you, but I know we may have some listeners that are not familiar with what you were wrongfully accused of and why both the inmates and the guards and everyone was against you because of the type of crime. Do you mind sharing with our listeners what the accusations were against you?
Sure. So in 1991, a young lady by the name of JackieRay Williams was brutally murdered at the Fern Rock Station in Philadelphia
Mhm.
by, they said, three perpetrators.
Mhm.
The perpetrators were said to be 5'10" to 6 feet tall, dark skin complexion, and 180 to 200 pounds. So, for your listeners to completely understand, I'm 5'4".
Mhm.
That is my height. I weighed 125 pounds at the time in 1991. My skin complexion, as you see, I'm brown skinned. And when they say dark skin complexion, they mean Wesley Snipes, the famous actor, and Miles Davis, the jazz trumpeter. So
Right.
you see what you
Right.
have here is just from that alone, you know something is wrong.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That is insane. Yes, Lord. I don't know if you had an opportunity, but I know you had the YouTube viewing of it. But I
I
had an
did.
opportunity to read more in depth of the case. But This guy, I mean, the prosecution, it was just a railroad. I can't remember the word, like a witch hunt, if you will.
I
You know
do.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because it's like I hear like a lot of hateration. I hear just, I don't know, because as you remember, Jimmy, we spoke in pre-interviews that and I don't know if
Mhm.
I did share this, but I have a degree in criminal justice. Criminal justice is my passion, and as a part of that passion, I tend to indulge and still in like ID discovery shows and forensic
Right, right,
cold
right.
case kind of
Yeah,
things. It's just it drives part of me, but that's why I think I feel like was a witch hunt. You know what I'm saying? What I
right.
hear and what I'm reading, I hear like, okay, there was some haters up in the cut. The cops had what they was gonna do, what they was gonna do. They put it
Right,
on you, and they was just determined to do it no matter what. Because
right.
we have the whole situation. Golly, Miss Kaysen is her name. God,
Yeah.
sure get it right, right. So when Miss Kaysen comes up and she talks about specifically her time and when she picked up her subsistence check, that time frame versus when she saw you on the K bus. You see what I'm saying? That 2:15
Mhm.
to 2:30 window, her picking up her check at about 1:50 p.m. All of that clearly creates a timeline, not even for the use the word alibi. It's just the freaking truth of where you were
Right,
at that time in
right.
in your journey back to where you were going. So my point of the matter is all of that information, Lori, was just not ever presented. The prosecution just pretty much just stuffed that down. You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
And I know I see you about to scream. So
Well,
go ahead.
I have a name. I have a name, and I'm going to say this name, Jimmy.
Mhm.
I hope you forgive me for saying it, but I want to see your reaction.
Yeah,
Frank Rizzo.
yeah. So listen, right. So if you study the history of Philadelphia, you know
Mhm.
Frank Rizzo is one of the worst figures in the city of the history of Philadelphia. He was a
Mhm.
racist bigot.
Mm,
He he breed these cops to terrorize the black community, period, point blank. And uh this was a evil person.
mhm,
But not only
Mhm.
him, it's the prosecutor, Roger King. It's the it's the district attorney's office, with Roger King in it
mhm,
and other figures. It's the corrupt police officers from the Frank Rizzo era, you know, that did this to me. But I want you to understand, they just didn't just do this to me. They did
mhm,
it to 20 and 30 other people.
mhm,
And all this information that we talk about tonight is
mhm,
just a click away. It's just a click away from everybody's fingers on their phone, where they can read
Mhm.
everything, where they can read the proof of everything that we literally talking about tonight, from the August 21st, 2013 legal decision, which the first paragraph talks about my innocence, from the August 23rd, 2016 legal opinion, which talks about my innocence in the grave miscarriage of justice. And with any civil matter within the city of Philadelphia that's going on, that done transpire with other individuals such as Anthony Wright and many
mhm,
other people showing time, is you'll see what these corrupt police officers did to them, they did to me. The only
mhm.
difference was they had life and they tried to kill me twice.
This is that factual background. On October 22nd, 1991, two high school students, Shadell Williams and Zara Howard, were walking up the steps of Philadelphia Fern Rock SCPTA station when two men approached them yelling, "Give me your fucking earrings." The girls fled down the steps. Howard hid behind a nearby fruit stand, while Williams ran into the street. The two men pursued Williams. One of them held a gun to her neck and shot her. The men then fled up the street, where they jumped into a car and sped away. Witnesses said there must have been a third participant who drove the vehicle. Given how fast the perpetrators left the scene, emergency services arrived within minutes. But Williams was pronounced dead at the hospital shortly after the shooting. Her earrings were missing, but her necklace and ring were untouched. Dennis's conviction was based solely on shaky eyewitness eyewitness, say it again, eyewitness identification, because I know you have something to say, Lori, from 3 witnesses. The testimony of another man who said he saw Dennis with the gun the night of the murder, and a description of clothing seized from the house of Dennis's father that the police subsequently lost before police photographed or cataloged it. In short, Dennis's prosecution was based on a scant evidence at best. In the process, the Commonwealth covered up evidence that pointed away from Dennis. It ignored Dennis's own explanation for where he was at the time of the murder, taking a bus from his father's house to the Abbotsford Homes project. It allowed a witness who saw Dennis on that bus to give incorrect testimony about what time the interaction occurred. Police never recovered a weapon, never found the car that witnesses described, and never found the 2 accomplices. Despite Dennis's lack of significant history, the Commonwealth charged him with capital crime. There was virtually no physical evidence presented at the trial. Dennis was convicted almost entirely through eyewitness identification. Although the crime was committed by at least 2 people, Dennis was the only person ever arrested or convicted of the crime. So that's what we're looking at, Lori G.
Yeah.
What are you reminded of? Whom?
I, am reminded of our cousin, Ronnie Bonner,
Yeah.
which it's really, it's the same eyewitness testimony
Mhm.
type of thing. Jimmy, I was struck by your YouTube, one of your YouTube videos that talked about, did you say there were 9 witnesses, but
Yeah,
many of them were not allowed to
right.
speak because they collaborated your story,
Well,
right?
what happened was the six other witnesses did not testify because they clearly said it wasn't me. So they didn't testify. The police buried their statements and their testimony in the police. And these witnesses also said that the police officers that we speaking of was trying to force people to pick me out and to lie, and they would not do that. So they weren't called. And they clearly said that the physical characteristics of the perpetrator is what we talked about earlier: 5'10", 6 foot tall, dark skin complexion, 200 pounds. And that it clearly wasn't me. And some of these witnesses came face to face with the perpetrators. So you talking about a clear case of injustice. And just to go back real quick to deal with the public assistance check issue, right? The police, you have to understand, the police went to this young woman, right? They threatened her. They threatened her, number 1. 2, they took the welfare receipt that they knew proved my innocence, and they knew that she could not tell military time. So she didn't know what time was on the check. She was telling them that she seen me the exact time that I said that she seen me now. I know her about as well as I know y'all, not at all. She's an acquaintance, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So she just somebody from the neighborhood that I waved at, right? You know what I mean? As we both got off the bus. That being said, they threatened her because she had a job and she was getting welfare at the time, so on and so forth. And then they took the check and they buried it for years. So we never knew about the check until around like 1998. And then as you see in the 2 legal opinions, the court proved what they done with the check and that they had it all along, even though they continued to lie and say they didn't have it, but they had it and they took it from her and they buried it.
That's horrible.
Along with other evidence, like if you get into the clothing evidence, the clothing evidence is utterly ridiculous. They went to 3 separate places, right? My dad's apartment, my mom's apartment, and my children's mother. And they took their clothes. And my mom, at the time, was over 200 pounds, and so was my dad, right? So putting on their clothes and my children's mother, putting on their clothes would be like someone's son or daughter putting on their clothes as an adult.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it would be like. So they lost the clothes because they never tested it. They didn't lose the clothes, they destroyed the clothes. And if you go
Wow.
back and you look at the evidence around like 2005 at the evidentiary hearing, when the detective was asked what happened to the clothes, he said the cleaners threw them out.
Hmm.
So that's the first lie. They got multiple lies of what happened with the clothes because they know that the clothes would have proved my innocence because,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
DNA. So what you have is understand that in every single police station in America, every FBI station in America, no cleaning crew is allowed to come back there. So he lied on the witness stand. That's why when he said it, everybody in the courtroom gasped because they knew it was a blatant lie. This the same police detective that went and signed out the homicide file with other people confessing to the crime, and it never has been seen again. And other documents of other viable leads, and it's never been seen again. And when confronted about what happened to it, he said he didn't take it out. And then we showed him his actual signature in the courtroom, and then he sat back and he mum's the word now because you got caught.
Mm-hmm.
Got caught. So this is what we dealing with. We dealing with people that are pure evil
Hmm.
and nefarious, pure evil, pure evil, and every act was intentional. Every act was evil. Period.
Hmm.
There's no other way to describe it because they were trying to kill me for something I didn't do. Period.
That's horrible. Kim, Miss Chris Fisher, how are you tonight, Queen?
Fine, thank you for asking.
Of course, Miss Chris Fisher. Jimmy, Chris Fisher is Lori, my sister's Lori G's sister-in-law. Chris Fisher has rolls with the show,
How you
and
doing, Chris?
I'm good. Listening to your story is striking a whole bunch of veins in my body. Like, what the world?
I
But
know.
but I'm not shocked because when you take a look at history, our history, that's something that's been going on for a long time, including the guys who got out after he was the one who won the singing thing. He was on Dr. Oz, I guess maybe last week or so, and I just happened to catch a little bit of his video, and I'm thinking that's the same exact thing. You know how
Mm-hmm.
they do that, and it's ridiculous. But when you look at it behind the scenes,
Mm-hmm.
that's nothing but that evil. And
Mm-hmm.
these people that eventually get caught, they sit and look dumbfounded because they don't know what just happened. They was
Right.
just being used by the evil, and once the evil leave them and say, "Aha, I got you,"
Hmm.
now they sitting there looking like, uh, uh.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah.
But Chris, we talking about 25 and a half years of this king's life was stolen away. What does that say to you, sis?
Well, with him sitting here now, I can say it wasn't stolen. I can say it was a season of him learning and being prepared because when you make it through a situation that's that bad, you can't say nothing but I was being prepared for this moment. You know, this
Mm-hmm.
moment with us and for whatever what God have planned for you to do. I'm quite sure you're doing some amazing things to help others. And, you know, I don't know what you're doing outside of, since that happened, but that was a season. And I know it had to been a rough season. Nobody can imagine that unless we were in your shoes.
Mm-hmm.
But looking at that 25 years, it's ridiculous. But thank God that that season is over. Now
Amen.
Indeed.
your
Mm-hmm.
testimony is great because you're going to inspire so many others. And there are some people who can look at that and say, well, you know what, my child didn't make it out, or my child didn't do it, or he's still in jail, or he just, you have those ones that are in that situation, but you, like you said, you had hope in knowing the truth was going to come out. You did not give up on that.
Amen.
Jimmy, I want you to share with our listeners. You know, I can't even imagine. Like you said, you were sitting in that courtroom and the verdict comes back and you're like, I didn't do this. What is this? And your mom is really upset. But some people I think would completely crumble. You decided right away to fight for your freedom. Can you share with our listeners the first thing you did and the campaign you started? And
Yeah.
yeah, that was so inspirational.
So, um, from the very first moment, um, I I was stolen away. I was sitting in the cell, devastated. You know, tears was rolling down my eyes, and I made a decision at that point with everything that I was going through that I wasn't going to go out like that. You know, um, and so I started to um, write different organizations and different activists all over the country. And the first letter I ever wrote was to Centennial Ministries in New Jersey. And Centennial Ministries is with the Reverend James McCloskey. They help innocent people get out of prison all the time, but they had a long waiting list and I couldn't wait. So from there, I kept writing any and everybody. So at some point in time, there becomes a situation where after I get the death penalty and I'm going upstate, I still don't have the support um, that I needed. Number one. Number two, just to go back for a second, when I was sitting in that courtroom, I was irritated at the fact that so much was going over my head in terms of legal jargon. And so from the moment I stepped foot in prison, I began to immerse myself in the law. And so by the time I get upstate, I'm studying law. I'm still not good. I don't become really good in the law until around like 1998, but I'm studying the law to help myself get out of prison. At that same time that I'm studying law, I'm working on what you call the Justice for Jimmy campaign. And so there was the internet became prominent and everybody was going on the internet, trying to get a pen pal. I ain't do none of that. I ain't want no pen pal. I'm not looking for no, uh, pen pal situation. I went on.
Right.
Y'all know what I'm doing. I wasn't looking for no pen pal.
You didn't need a pen pal.
No. I ain't need no pen pal.
Right.
We ain't doing no fake love stories.
Right.
Boom.
I went up there and said I'm innocent, and these are the facts. And then from there, so many different people all over the country started writing me. And from there, I built my team with these three people, Tracy, and Dave out in Canada. They wrote me and I wrote them back like a 26, 28-page letter with all the facts. Then I sent them all the legal documents. They built a website and I put all of the legal documentation on the internet. What the district attorney and the police said and what my appeal brief was, because I didn't want anybody taking my word for it on face value. If you were going to be on my support team, I wanted you to believe in me 1000%, number one, and know all the facts so you could articulate yourself when you spoke out about my innocence, right? And that's how I was able to get all the support I got. So that wound up going to Germany, Netherlands, Australia, Chicago, Philly, New York, all over this country, all over the world, you name it. I was in all the newspapers in Italy, Germany, TV, everywhere. We were just blissing. We were just blissing, and then we were able to get celebrity support like Susan Sarandon, the Oscar winner.
Wow.
Ed Asner, the famous actor.
Yeah.
We was able to get Jennifer Thompson, who's a a dear friend of mine to this very day, Jennifer Thompson. She's an advocate for innocent people and just an advocate for victims' rights. And she wrote a book called Picking Cotton, which was a bestseller, New York Times bestseller, because she was a crime victim and she mistakenly identified the wrong person. So she became my advocate along with many others championing my cause. And my supporters were very great because my supporters from all over the world, they would go to colleges, they would go to high schools, wherever they could get, and they would be all over the internet and be on radio, TV, newspapers, wherever they could be, magazines, talking about my innocence. And that just really got the ball rolling.
Absolutely. I was inspired in your video. You said you wrote 50 letters a day, every day.
Yeah, that's called putting up AI numbers.
Okay, stop. Whoa, stop.
Wow, that's
the
amazing.
answer right there.
There you go.
Yeah, so so from 6 a.m. to 6 a.m. the next morning, I'm writing letters and I'm putting what you call the case information sheets in the envelope, which had all the facts of the crime in the envelope, and for people to reach out to my supporters, wherever you at in the world. You can reach out because we had multiple websites in Germany, Italy, France, Scotland, and America. So in Australia, we was moving out. And that's what I did every day. And so the guard would literally have to pop the slot door that they pass the food trays in to get the mail, because I would be, putting up them AI numbers over 50, 55, 60 letters a day. You know what I mean? I was serious with it, wasn't getting no sleep.
Right.
I was on a mission.
Yes, you definitely were on a mission. Now, Jimmy, I just been talking so much. I'm going to ask one more question. I'm going to be quiet for a little bit.
No.
Now, on this one, you may or may not want to answer. And I understand if you don't. I know you got some things going on and you're limited and protected on what you can say. But in watching the video, the interviewer said that you were found innocent, but it took like 3 years for them to release you. Is that even lawful?
Yeah, because what you have to understand is most of the times when somebody is found, most of the times people get what you call a new trial in the courts. It isn't like they're found innocent in this situation, but they are innocent. But it takes the system in Philadelphia 3 to 5 years just to get you back to a new trial, or whatever the case may be. But in most cases, the district attorney's office has an opportunity to appeal that decision. So what we had was, and I want y'all to notice how I call out people's names too. Very important. Because we don't do no chase. We give you the raw and uncut, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? We don't do no politically correct stuff. I name names.
There you
had
go.
an attorney that was corrupt by the name of Seth Williams. Seth Williams, after I got out of prison, just so y'all know about this man's integrity, which he has none, he went to jail 6 months later after I got out and came home. You understand?
Wow.
This is the type of person that I was dealing with. You go online, if your listeners go online right now, they'll find articles by David A. Love that was written in the Huffington Post, right? Criticizing Seth Williams for what he was doing to me. If your listeners go online right now, they'll find a letter by Michael Courier, another Philadelphia attorney who was in the Black Tribune newspaper or another newspaper in the city, going off on Seth Williams for keeping me in prison, because everybody in the city knew I was innocent. It wasn't no secret. It was not a secret. And so what happened is he appealed to the Third Circuit.
Okay.
And that took 3 years, but him appealing to the Third Circuit, it hurt me. It hurt my family and friends, and it prolonged the situation. But in God's plan, it was for the greater good. And I'll tell you why. Because that legal decision of August 23rd, 2016, when you see innocent people coming home all over the country, a lot of them are using the James Dennis case. Look at the front of the case, and you will see it say presidents. And that case is the legal standard dealing with innocent people and Brady violations and so on and so forth. So that benefited greatly everybody in the country. And I'm proud of the work that my lawyers did at Arnold and Porter Law Firm, Amy Rowe, Ryan Giles, Megan Martin, Rebecca Dubin, Stuart Lynn, and Emily. All the work that we did together as a team is now benefiting innocent people all over the country. So I'm good with that suffering on that tip, that it benefit. I wish I didn't have to suffer, but now to sit with y'all and to know that every single month or within this year and last year, and since that legal decision has been written, innocent people come home all over the country, and I get phone calls from other innocent people telling me thank you. Yeah, I'm good with that.
Amen. All right, Jimmy. What did they say? God said for such a time as this. Absolutely.
Yes, and I'm
here,
actually.
Okay, what's up, Big Tap?
Oh,
Jesus.
I'm sorry.
No, but Jim,
Yeah,
that was beautiful, man. And I want to ask you something.
yeah.
When you was inside, did you guys have access for phones or no?
Yes.
I'm
Yes, we
talking
did
about
have access.
like a cell phone.
No,
That's right.
no, that's illegal, bro.
Okay, because of the mere fact, what you're doing right now and what you have done, you know, by all this process and everything, God bless you, man. But what you have opened it up for a lot of brothers. Like I got like 3 brothers in there now that I know that you are aware of, that you know them. You know Carmen Woods. You know Carmen, right?
I'm not really familiar with that name. Sorry.
Yeah, Carmen Woods, and you know the brother Cool C, and other brothers. You have helped their cases, man, and it's unbelievable. And as far as the criminal, as far as what you guys are talking about and what you dealt with, it's like I'm gonna leave that to the experts, Jackie and Lori, because they have, you know, that experience. Jackie has a degree, and I'm not too savvy with what's going. You know, shoot, I get panic attacks in my bedroom, and you know, I can't imagine in the jail cell, brother.
Yeah.
But I want to just kick it off when we discuss the other parts of your life and answer the question that Christian said about when she said she don't know what you do that you've done afterwards.
Right.
But I'm blessed to know what you have done afterwards. And we are going to reveal that to all our listeners and whatnot. But you know, my man, this has been inspiring. You know, I can't believe you had me engraved this whole time. I really know Jackie and Lori. I was just so engraved in the conversation. It was so beautiful that, you know, I forgot I was even part of the show myself.
Thank you, brother.
Unbelievable.
Well, that's a good thing, Chad. That's a good
So
thing.
go ahead, guys. When you guys delve into the music part of it, I would like to have a say in that.
There we go. Absolutely.
Did you want to go into
Well,
some
let's
music,
make that transition. But I'm going to reserve a few more questions for later. How about that?
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And they're just more societal and community-based questions. We just like on the POJ show to kind of pick your brain and see what you're thinking.
Yeah.
But you know, Big Tap, Jimmy, you know how he can be. He like, okay, y'all been talking about that stuff too much. It's my turn to take the forefront. And we love him. We love him. We gonna get there. So why don't you tell us about your music. I mean, you got out, you came home. I just have to say, there was a clip that showed you getting into the van
Right.
when you were going home. And my goodness, you had, and not $1 million, but $1 trillion smile on your face.
I can only
Right.
And that's
imagine.
beautiful. And I just want to say, hey, I'm so glad you made it home. So you made it
Thank
home,
you.
and what did you jump into, Jimmy? Tell us about
Yeah,
what's
yeah,
going
yeah.
on now.
Before you go into that, Jim, before you go
Yeah.
into what was your mind frame like when you was inside? What was your mind frame? Where was the music at? Was it in the background, or where did you have it stored? Because it was in you, it was engraved in you, in your soul. But how did
Right.
you deal with that? Where did you store that at while you was inside, brother?
So for me, music was in the forefront of my mind, right? I never lost hope or faith that I was going to come home, number one. Number two, I knew that when I came home, what the goal was to make music. So the entire time I'm in prison, keep in mind that prison, it never sleeps. It's always chaotic. It's always a ruckus going on death row, right? It's always noisy. But I wrote over 700 songs when I was in prison. No matter what was going on around me, I blocked it all out because I knew what I was coming home to do, period. And I was writing songs for myself. I was writing songs for other people. Like I would hear artists and this would be good for them, right? You know what I mean? And so music was ever present in my mind. And just so you can know, from the moment I was stolen away, I had these songs, literally these beautiful songs by artists playing in my head. And you need to know what they are because it tells you a story about what I was going through, but it tells you my resilience and how I knew that I was going to make it out. So from the moment I was stolen away and I was in that box in the county, I heard the Winans, Trusting God, in my head. Then it was John Coltrane, Dear Lord. Then it went to Christopher Cross, Selling, right? Then it went to Bruce Springsteen, Glory Days, Stevie Wonder, If It's Magic, Whitney Houston, Why Does It Hurt So Bad, right? And then it went to Fleetwood Mac, Don't Stop. And then after those songs played in my head, right? Because I had no music in prison, understand? No music, right? I started my day. I prayed. I started working on the Justice for Jimmy campaign, and I started working on law. That was every single day. And if you listen to them songs, if all your listeners and you listen to them songs at night, you're going to get it. You're going to get it. You're going to get exactly where I was in my mind and how I overcame everything that I went through in there with faith and determination.
I have a question for you, Jimmy, and this
Yes.
is can you
Thank
explain
you, brother.
to our listeners and reiterate what it was like on death row and on those Sundays on death row? I think that's really important for people to understand again another deeper level of the essence of you.
So every single day on death row is excruciating. Being on death row is like somebody having a gun to your head playing Russian roulette. That's what being on death row is. In prison is a day-to-day assault on the human soul, number one. So every single day was excruciating, right? And from Monday to Friday, all your movements are checked. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, shower for 10 minutes. You get 3 phone calls a month at that time, and the phone calls were for 10 minutes. We had to fight to just get an extra 5 minutes. And then, when you do get the extra 15-minute phone call, you have to ask yourself, how can you talk to your mother and your father that's sick, right? And then talk to your young daughters that are growing up without you. Because I had a 3.5-year-old daughter. I had my youngest daughter was born 1 week after I was stolen away. So trying to be a parent from death row, trying to be a son and check on my parents that they were gravely ill, and just trying to make it through. And you got to remember different guard. You got racist guards, you got prejudice guards on the block. You can look out the door and understand what day is going to be just by what guard is working. And 99.99% of the guards is nuts. They ridiculous. They real corny, right? But then you got the prisoners that are going through their mental illness, right? Some prisoners got multiple personalities, you know, and I seen men literally go crazy, kill themselves in prison. The most horrible thing is seeing a black bag come through the block because somebody done killed themselves, or you hear somebody that was sane one week and now they snapping, kicking the door because they can't take it no more. So every single day you had to fight and hold on to your sanity. Every single day you had to watch everybody around you because it's a jungle. Them doors could pop open at any time. When you go to the yard, anything could jump off. When you go to shower, anything could jump off with guards or prisoners. So prison ain't prison is exactly what you think it is. It's an animal. It's an animal. That's what prison is. It's an animal and it's a real jungle in there. And to survive it, you have to be strong-willed and you have to have the mental fortitude to get through it all. And that's just an honest answer. It's horrible on death row. It's nothing like it in the world.
Jimmy, we are doing multiple streams here. God bless us. We are on YouTube live stream. We are also on Facebook live stream, and we're also doing IGTV. I have a gentleman, Mr. Goldie Lokestar, who is enamored by your story here in Instagram, and he wanted to know what death row. Where were you? Where were you located? What
SEI Green, Pennsylvania, the same prison that Michelle Alexander talks about in her book, The New Jim Crow. If you read that book, she tells you very clearly that was a deserted town and township when they put that prison up there. And it became a bustling community. So I was on SEI Green Death Row. I also done a stint on Greater Ford Death Row in Pennsylvania. Also done a stint at Huntington Death Row. But the majority of my time was spent at SEI Green Death Row. And I also did a small stint at Camp Hill Death Row. So it was Camp Hill first, Greater Ford first, Camp Hill, then Huntington, then SEI Green. And SEI Green is one of the worst prisons in the state. The ambulance, there are 2 ambulances that sit outside the jail because it go down like that every single day.
What do you have to say?
I'm speechless.
I have a comment, and you said, now when you say their mindset, you made the comment that whole event is excruciating on your soul. When I think of that, and I think about soul, because we all have a soul, but that's not who we are, because your soul is your emotion. So when you said the mindset of everybody in there, that's how, to me, that's how that they're getting attacked, and that's how you made it through. Was you didn't let your soul overtake you. You didn't let your emotion of what was happening take over you, where, you know, that shirt you got on just keeps getting in my way. Never give up. You know, you never gave up. Your mindset was, oh, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna do what I have to do. And so that was your strength. That was the spirit in you that, you know, you let that prevail more than you did your soul, which was your emotional, your, you know, your hearing, seeing, smelling, what's going on around you, you know. So I really, you know, I just thank God. I got to give praise to God, because that's the only way that you are talking how you made it through, you know, your
Indeed.
faith, you know. So
Indeed, faith. Yeah, I used to sit I used to, when I'd be working on the Justice for Jimmy campaign and working on legal work, I would call my lawyers and we would talk about days to come. I never called home to my mother, to my daughters, or anybody and complained about anything ever, right? I always believed that my day of truth was going to come out. Now, that's not to tell you or anybody in your audience that I didn't have my moments, because I had plenty of moments where I wanted to check up out of here on some real stuff. Like, yo, like this is a bit much. And those were some real moments, but I fought through them, right? To be able to talk to you right now. And on the weekends were the worst in prison, because getting a visit is like hitting the lottery, because literally SCI Green sits like 7 to 8 hours outside of Philadelphia, right? So to get there front and back is like 14 to 16 hours, right? And your family got to pay, you know, to get up there, you know, on a bus or plane, and it's a mess, right? But I would sit and visualize every single thing that I'm doing there. I would sit and believe that I was going to talk to all my childhood friends. I would sit and talk, sit and visualize that I was going to go see my mother and take care of my mother like I'm doing now. Take her water, go interact with my sister and my brothers, and go interact with my friends and be able to talk on the phone. You know what I mean? Every single moment, I can honestly tell you, every single moment that I done lived since I've been home for the last 3.5 years, I told one of my closest childhood friends this, and we were talking on the phone. I said, listen, dog, I said, one of the things that got me through, because I would have conversations with you, dog. Like, yo, where we going tonight? What we doing? You know what I mean? And this was a real thing for me, because I knew that these days were coming. The one thing you can't do, even with this pandemic, right? You can't give up, you can't give in. So what do I mean by that, right? We got to wear our masks, we got to social distance, we got to take that black seed oil, that black elderberry, we got to get our health right, we got to get on it, work out a little bit, you know what I mean? We got the social distance. So if you in your living room, you know what I mean, turn on Whitney Houston, turn on Jay-Z or Beyonce or whoever you listening to, turn on Jimmy Dennis and make it a party.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I'm saying, you know what I mean? And we gonna get through it. You can't, listen, right? Our ancestors had that same faith. Who are we, right, to give in and to give up?
But Jimmy, I have a question for you. In watching your story, it seemed that you started your love for music or singing really early at the age of 10 with gospel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Were you a very religious person? Did that groundwork in gospel, did you reach back and use that as strength and power to stay so focused while you were away?
I grew up singing in the youth mass choir, but the first thing I was doing was I was playing the drums for the Sunshine Band and stuff like that. And then I got into the youth mass choir, and I was singing on various choirs in elementary school and high school and stuff like that. But my childhood friend really got me singing Shannon Wright. This is my guy. Me and him still chop it up to this day. But he the one that really got me singing, because he knew I could sing. I would just sing around him and another one of my childhood friends named Dunk. And they knew, so Shannon entered me in the competition. But my faith was always strong, because I grew up in the church. My dad was a, organist and piano player for various churches. And I do come from a very religious background, but I've always had faith and belief in God. You know what I mean? I believe in the Creator wholeheartedly to this day. And that's a part of what pulled me through, is my faith in the Creator and my faith in understanding that, I could get through this trying time with the belief and knowing that the truth was going to come out. So it played a huge role with me in my journey. Yes.
Jim,
What I hear is
when you went in, when you went in Philly and you know, civilization life was a certain way when you went in.
Mhm.
When you came out, it was different.
Yeah.
How did you feel when you came out? Were you proud of the way our people, black people, were acting? And then we'll get into the protests and stuff later. But when you came out of jail 3.5 years ago, times have changed, you know, technology changed, everything changed. Did you feel accepted, or did you feel like you can manage and adapt? Or I know you were going to do it anyway, but did you feel it was hard? Were you proud? Were you happy about the changes, or were you skeptical? How did you feel, brother?
So I'm always proud of our people, period. That's first and foremost. There's so many different entertainers and artists that I would get Billboard magazine the entire time I was in prison, and I would read it cover to cover, and I root for everybody. You know what I mean? I literally root for everybody. So everybody that ascended to greatness and did great things, I was happy for them. I also was happy when I came home that all of my childhood friends are doing good. They are working, they're living their lives, and they're doing good. And I'm proud of each and every one of them. And I tell them this all the time. So when I came home and different people had businesses, or different people had been on the job for 20 years or whatever, I celebrate them to this day, and I let them know how proud I am of them. So the technology for me took a lot of getting used to. You know, me and you was talking the other night, and I was trying to send you your music, right? So that took me a little while to get used to the technology of it. The one thing I will say that is disappointing about the internet at large, right, is this right here. Nowadays, everybody is on the internet, and that's a good thing. But perception should never be reality, right? And a lot of lies are filtered out there about people and to people, right? And then it's a thing where anybody can sit behind a computer or a telephone and just be cruel, right? So that was like new to me, like coming home and seeing a lot of things that I seen, but it is what it is for the most part, and I done got used to it, right? And when I'm on the internet, I just try to encourage people, you know, men and women, you know, from all over the country, all over the world, to run after their dreams, chase their dreams with reckless abandonment, no matter what it is, right? That's what I try to do, put positivity into the world, you know, and not be on, you know, no nutty buddy stuff like I be seeing out there. That's about it.
Yeah, because we definitely live in that day and age of internet keyboard warriors. You know, those that will
Right.
just straight up run their mouth be behind a screen, but then when it comes to actually backing up what they're saying out in the real world, they're not exactly up to that task.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
Rashid. That's our engineer. You
Yeah.
can't see him.
What's
He's off
going on,
camera.
Nah,
Yeah.
he just spoke truth to power. That you can't do that in LA. You can't do that in Philly. I don't know nowhere you can really do that at. So, I mean, it is what it is. But that's sad to see, though, right? But I just be trying to encourage people, and especially with us, right? We need to lift each other up. Need to lift our Black queens and kings up at all times. Lift our children up. You know what I mean? So we all can have a grand rising, and reach our full potential, period. So that's what I'm about.
You know what? And something else you're about that we got to transition to is your music. Oh my gosh. I think we need to listen to Skin I'm In, you guys. This is
Hate the
amazing.
skin I'm in, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Hate the skin I'm in, yeah.
Are we gonna play that
Ladies
one?
and gentlemen, the Poetry of Justice Show with Jackie Ray Phillips on yaxradio.com. and acceleratedradio.net. Ladies and gentlemen, we have none other than Mr. Jimmy Dennis in the house. And this is the part that I stated, a musical genius coming. Skin on me. Let's do it.
I am one of the people who built the country. Until this moment, there is scarcely any hope for the American dream, because the people who are denied participation in it, by their very presence, will wreck it.
You wish to stay in the Cro-Magnon state. Change disarms you of your privilege. You fear me even when I don't seek to harm you. Cause you hate the skin I'm in. Hate the skin I'm in. You hate my beautiful, beautiful, beautiful black skin. 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 Don't wanna move the needle. You'd rather keep us in this place. A systematic change. No more praying, begging, pleading, I'm telling you. Cause you hate skin of me. Hate my beautiful, beautiful, beautiful black skin. 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 You hate my beautiful black skin. Hate my beautiful, 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 beautiful black skin. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful black skin. Hate my beautiful, beautiful, beautiful black skin. I love my beautiful, 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 beautiful black skin. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful black skin. Love my beautiful, nothing you could ever do can take away beautiful black skin. Love my beautiful, 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 beautiful black skin.
You know what?
That
Oh
is
my gosh. Here we go.
That is
Jimmy.
awesome.
And the Grammy goes too, right?
Okay, beautiful black skin.
Oh my God.
All right. My goodness. Oh,
Get your boogie on.
there you go. Hey,
I'm ready
talk
pop
to
lock
me
up in here
about
like,
this one, Jimmy. Where did this
boom.
come from?
So, seeing everything going on in the country, and I just couldn't sit back and not speak upon it. Nina Simone said artists should reflect the times that they in. So I did just that. So I couldn't stand what happened to Elijah McClain out in Denver. I couldn't stand what happened to Breonna Taylor, Sean Bell, Tamir Rice, and what continues to go on in the Black community with police brutality all the time with Black and Latino people. And, you know, if we're not being killed in the streets in California to DC to Philly to New York to Minneapolis to Kentucky, we being wrongfully incarcerated. So that's where Hate the Skin I'm in came from. And your listeners and your audience can find it on all musical platforms. You could go to SoundCloud and listen to it. Spotify, iTunes, YouTube. It's everywhere. You know what I mean? Y'all go check that out. But that's where the song came from. I just wanted to write something to let them know that we see how y'all feel about us, but this is what you can't do. You can't break us. You can't stop who we are. We're gonna keep being a beautiful race of people. We a mighty, mighty resilient race of people. And no matter what y'all do to us, y'all not gonna stop nothing, period, ever.
Yes.
Sure, you about to jump out your skin, sis. Talk to us. How you feeling? How you feeling right now, sis? Go ahead, Miss Chris Fisher. How you feeling tonight?
You know, I'm a singer, so music, you know, that's something I've been around forever. That song really is catchy, and I understand, but I didn't understand until you just said about the times doing, because right now and I've been writing more of what's happening now. So it's like, you know, okay, I'm not a gospel singer, but I have sung gospel. I like all genres of music, but it's like, you know, Lord, what do you want me to sing? Where do I go? And one thing I heard Pastor Creflo Dollar one time say is, "You so busy trying to do music with God in it. What happened to just doing good music?" You know. And when you said that, I thought about Marvin Gaye. What's going on? I thought about that, you know, and I
Okay.
thought about the songs that really was for that time, what made it great, you know. So thank you for that, because that just sparked some music.
Thank you. Thank you.
As you
And I
can see,
hope
we had a dance party
I
going on up in here.
know. Hey.
you start writing something amazing right after this, Chris.
Big Tab, what did you say the other night when we got off the phone? When you said, remember you were speaking about his talents, and whom did you state he reminded you of? Which great of Motown? I know we named a couple, but do you remember?
After we play that second song, people will understand why I said this. But at first I told him, I said, he's a mix between Maxwell and Smokey. And he said, thank you, brother. He was polite about it. He was happy about it. But then he took me to another level and said, he see himself more like a Curtis Mayfield. And when he said that, and I knew he got me on that one, you know what I mean? But he's a I've been in the business, Jackie, for 30 years. He's a multi-talented brother. I just can't believe, I wanted to get into the segment where, just how did he just come out and just splash on them like that? That's something people can't even do when they're home for 25 years, let alone come out, try to get all that inside, all that resentment and everything out, and then come out with all that positivity and greatness.
Only God.
My man did it. He did.
Only the Holy Spirit.
He did it. He's a beast. You're a beast, Jim.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Thank you, man. Thank you.
Unbelievable
Another
story.
piece. You got the other piece with you, Rashid. What you want to do, Lori G?
Yeah, and so let's go on and jam to one more that Jimmy sent us. It's and you done went and did it.
Oh, you don't wait.
I like that title. I like that title.
Oh, you done went and did it. Title, yeah. Oh, you done went and did it, yeah.
Oh, you done went and did it. Here we
Oh,
go.
you done went and did it.
Done it now.
There's nothing in the world like a beautiful, strong woman.
You're a beast in the kitchen, baby. You keep my belly full. Infatuated with you later. The glow of you. Picturesque moments. Thoughts of you. Every man who ever second later. try to devour me. Combustible matter, pure ecstasy. All you did, baby, you're a beast, you're a fool. All you did, lady, no getting over you. All you did, baby, stole my heart in two. All you did, lady, you're the shit and it's true. I have tried to call off the phone, call every woman I know, told her to leave me alone, told them to leave me alone. All you did, baby, you're a beast, you're a fool. All you did, lady, no getting over you. All you did, baby, stole my heart in two. All you did, lady, you're the shit and it's true.
I'm blown away. I'm just saying, Lori G.
All I have to say is the award for Best New Artist goes to
Okay.
The exclusive mention.
I'm the shit, baby.
You good,
Yes,
Chris?
yes, you are, sir.
You gonna throw your panties on the
About
stage,
you.
Chris?
It was about every single one of y'all.
That is amazing.
Yes.
Amazing.
My
So
God.
tell us the history behind this song.
So, this is my ode to, this is my love affair with beautiful Black women. You know what I mean? That hold it down. The single mother that hold it down. The woman that hold it down for a family, and the woman that love up on a man, and you know what I mean? She a beast in every aspect of life. You know what I mean? It's for every woman, on the earth, that's holding it down, doing their thing. That's why I wrote the song. You know what I mean? Um, there's nothing like seeing, a Black queen in all her glory. You know what I mean? Especially in the summertime.
Okay.
Braids, short
Summertime.
hair,
You know what I'm thinking about, the
braids,
Fatback
short hair,
Band,
don't
when he
care.
says winter time is gone and summer's almost here. Time to get rid of all the overcoats and let the girls go free.
Yeah, I mean, it ain't nothing like seeing a woman, yeah, I mean, hair done, nails did, yeah, I mean, feet did, summer dress, or just in a business suit or whatever she got on, just, I mean, walking, I mean, all royalty regal. So that was my love song, to all women everywhere. You know what I mean? And I see you and you the shit.
I see
All
a
right
video for that.
now.
I see a
You know, I
video for
like you,
that.
Jimmy. You got to
Right,
come
right.
more
I
often
see
to
a
the
video
show.
for that.
My beautiful black skin.
That is
Yes.
beautiful. So I'm
You
interested,
know what?
Jimmy.
Jimmy Dennis,
That's
everybody.
I'm sorry, guys.
No, go
I
ahead.
was just going to tell Jimmy that he might be familiar with the song. That song reminds me of a song by an artist that you like, Stevie Wonder, and it has a similar title to it. It's called "You Got It Bad." Do you know that song?
Yeah,
Huh?
I know. Stevie is one of my major musical influence. He's a musical god to me. So, you know what I mean?
Oh, you
Yeah,
get
I
it.
know that song.
You got it bad. You know, I know you, boy. I'm starting. You know what? I'm right here with you. I'm right here with you.
That's my man. Listen, right? Listen, that's my man. Listen, one of my favorite albums of all time. My favorite is Songs of the Kid Life.
Oh,
Songs of the Kid
absolutely.
Life.
Excellent
Which
album.
one's yours?
I mean,
Songs of the Key of Life.
game changer. Complete game changer. Stevie got about 5, 6 albums that are complete classics. That ain't nobody coming nowhere close to, period, point blank. Checkmate, all day, all night. That's my guy. Love him.
We definitely love Mrs. Stevie Wonder here at yikesradio.com and accelerateradio.net. Shout out again to my mentor, the Mr. Kevin Nash. Thank you again, Mr. Jimmy Dennis, for being with us tonight. Are you having a good time?
I am having a good time with y'all. I'm having a wonderful time. I'm enjoying this.
Hey,
All right.
Lloyd, did you have
I'm
questions?
gonna
Go ahead,
tell you,
Gerald.
Jim. I think it's because we in the studio, but this show got a different type of vibe, different atmosphere. It's like this is a good show, Jim, man. It's like it got me like more focused. I think it's Lori and them. You know what? I know you a star because you made Lori and Jackie completely forget about me. But it's okay because the show is great. You know,
You're so
I know
spoiled, girl.
they
You know
forgot
we
I
are
was
you
there,
teddy
Jim.
bears.
You know what? I'm not
He's
gonna
so
say it's
spoiled,
He's
my
such a
goodness.
brat.
because you look better than it ain't because you look better than me, brother. It's because you are, you know, I mean, you on the show as a guest. I brought you here, brother. So don't think, you know what I mean? But yo, man, this is a great show, brother. This is a great show, man. Thank you for
Jimmy,
all.
I'm
Go ahead, Lori. I'm sorry, man.
well, I'm interested in, and Tap, you can jump in on this. So what are the next steps? You know, we spent time talking about what you lost, brother. You are making music that, oh my gosh, makes
Changing
my
the
heart
world.
melt. So
Changing
what
the
are we looking
world.
forward to? What are your next steps? Where you going?
So I got a new single coming out in November, November 23rd. I got a new single coming out. So y'all could be looking for that at the top of the year. At the top of the year, I'm gonna put out more music, and in May, I'm going to drop my first album ever in May. We looking at May to drop the first album next year, 2021 May. But November 23rd, we got a new single coming out that I think everybody gonna gravitate towards. You know, and at the top of the year, we got more new music. Around Valentine's Day, I'm gonna hit y'all with 3 songs.
Definitely can't wait for that.
I'm gonna hit y'all with 3 songs, you know what I mean, for the lovers around Valentine's Day. 3, they
Right.
already done, they already in the can. So I'm gonna hit y'all with 3 new songs the week before Valentine's Day. But up first, November 23rd, and I'm putting it out on November 23rd because that's the day that I was stolen away. So I'm reclaiming that date back.
Amen.
So that's why the next single is coming out on November 23rd.
Yes.
And I'm assuming, tell us where we can get this music on November 23rd, Jimmy. Let us know
On
again.
November 23rd, you'll be able to get all the music, all my music on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, Google Play, SoundCloud, everywhere. Anywhere that they sell music, any platform that y'all listen to music, YouTube, everywhere, I'm there. I'm right there right now. So the 2 songs that y'all heard tonight, Hate the Skin I'm In, is on every musical platform, Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, SoundCloud. Y'all can go to SoundCloud right now and listen to Hate the Skin I'm In featuring Gwen Jackson, produced by Michael Boykins, and music by me and Daryl Piano Man Marshall. Y'all can listen to All Y'all Went and Did It on SoundCloud and on YouTube and Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, Deezer, everywhere. I'm there. Google Play, Amazon Music, I'm everywhere.
Tell you, that's
I just
I'm
want to
there.
know, can I get a shot at, you know, a song with you, one of them productions, brother? Because I got some team too, you know what I mean? I want to get my name on the project too, baby.
Anything's possible, bro. Anything's possible where you've been talking. Anything's
Y'all
possible.
remember from Hustle and Flow when he says everybody got to have a dream. You know?
That is so true. So true.
We just having a funky good time.
Well,
I
if you ever need, you know, help with some female vocals, I like to lend my voice, you know, So if you ever need, because I have a sound that's very unique and it's
That's what
very,
I'm talking about.
so
Sure,
if you
sure.
ever need, hey, I might need you to, even some backgrounds or some
And we going
different type
politics.
of, what I'm saying? Yes,
We going
exactly.
politics,
I,
Chris.
I, you know what I'm
We going
saying?
politics.
Okay,
Yeah,
for
I mean, I
sure.
love it. Hey, so we going politics.
Yeah.
Look at the POJ show.
Movers and
Just hooking
shaking,
people
baby.
up, making
That's
connections
it.
Making
here.
it happen.
Oh
Pop it.
my
Boom,
goodness.
boom. Shaka laka.
Get connected.
There we go.
So free.
Connecting.
Black Hollywood people.
Yeah, I
I
want to
love
give a
it.
shout out. I want to give a huge, big shout out. It would never be possible for this brother to be on here and for us to link up like this if it wasn't for a sister that 20 years ago I was blessed to manage, Gwen Jackson. I love her, and that's my baby girl, and she introduced me to the incomparable Jimmy Dennis, and oh man, the future is looking, bright, boy.
And just let me say, Gwen, Gwen is my sister, but Gwen is also the COO of Saint Hood Records, and she's also the COO of my production company, Keys of My Heart Production. And I got nothing but beautiful women behind me, and she's the force behind me. From the moment I was in prison, just to tell you about Gwen, Gwen was making sure that all my music was copywritten when I was in prison from 1998 until I got out. That's the role that my childhood friend played. And when I came home, she immediately took me in the studio, you know what I mean, to get working. You know what I mean? So Gwen is the magic behind me, along with many other beautiful women in my life. And I just want to say thank you to everybody on my team. So thank you.
And
Thank you,
thank
Gwen.
you. We're gonna have to get Miss Gwen and you back on the show. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yes, indeed. She
Yeah.
gladly come on. She gladly come on.
You know, this is a family affair. You can't just come once. You know what I'm saying? The
Oh,
first
yeah,
time.
y'all can lock me in.
All
Y'all can lock
right.
Because
me
we be having different topics, and then I need some exciting individuals to kind of come and weigh in on those. So I'll save that for
problem.
our executive producer, all those different amazing topics. But I'm really, really honored and really, really blessed. Chicks, we're doing the damn thing. Any other things specifically, Jimmy, that you want our listeners and your fans to know or just discuss before we get ready to wrap up with the wrap up? I've got some little current event stuff that we may
I
want to
do
chat
too.
about, voting and things like that regard. But I know we've given all the handles and where everyone can get to you, but the essence of Jimmy Dennis today.
I'm just an R&B singer, songwriter, producer, and just trying to make good music to move everybody's soul in the country and around the world. I'm an activist. I advocate for other innocent people. Right now, I'm advocating for Ralph Stokes, the innocent man on death row at SCI Green. I'm advocating for another black man that's innocent by the name of Abdul Hardy. And advocating for Anthony Reed, another innocent man. So these are the people that I'm advocating for. Y'all can look these brothers up. They're in the Pennsylvania prison system, and y'all can write them and get involved in their case. And anybody that want to follow me, they can follow me at Jimmy Dennis Music on Instagram and Facebook, Jimmy Dennis Music Group. And I'm just going to try to keep making great music and music to move your soul. And I'm gonna keep advocating for innocent people, trying to bring innocent people home. And that's who Jimmy Dennis is. I'm a father. I'm a brother. I'm a son. And I just want to make good music to move your soul. That's who I am.
You are on your way
Well,
because
you are,
those two songs
Thank you.
are incredible.
well, you've
Can,
done that.
can you reveal to our audience what you said when I asked you, who do you sound like, and where do you think you're gonna be at? How is the masses gonna perceive you? Like, and you told me that, do I know Kim? Do I know this person? Do I know that person? They gonna be, tell them what you told me, brother. I want you to tell the audience. That was deep, but that was confidence. You was cocky on it, but I like that.
No, I just said that, if you can't, if you trying to define me, you really can't. You know what I mean? Because of where I'm taking my music, I have a different sound. If you really listen to the sound of my music, is a different sound. So, you know, when you hear that bass thumping, the reason why that bass thumping and you hear the string element in my music, it's a total different sound right now, you know, mixed with R&B, soul, hip hop, a little street. And that thump that you hear come from my childhood friends when they be banging they, you know how we used to ride in the 80s with the, with the car rattling. One of my friends, two of my friends had their cars rattling all the time. We'd be riding, but I'm trying to give y'all good music the same way Kim, Anthony Hamilton, Jaheim, and all them cats do. Uncle Charlie, these are dudes that I admire and I respect greatly. And I'm just trying to throw my hat in the ring with all them cats. That's all.
No, but
That's a great thing.
Jimmy Dennis is going to be known more than them.
Amen.
You're the new generation. What do you think about Jim? This is another thing. What do you think about the youth out there now that's protesting and all this stuff? Do you behind them 100% and stuff like that? You know, because they ain't playing nowadays. You notice that?
Yeah, I think number one, I want to point out that a lot of times I have conversations with people and they say things and the youth get a bad rap. But let me tell you something. The youth is the heartbeat and the pulse of this country, right? And I support their efforts for protesting all these injustices 1000%, right? And that's why I wrote that song, Hate the Skin I'm In. And that's why I got other powerful songs coming, which I am talking about them, the youth in the front line, you know, the Angela Rye, the Tamika Malrays, you know, that really be speaking truth to power. And the youth are what's shaking up the country and making people talk about real positive change, right? And I support them 1000%. And I'm absolutely proud of this generation and their activism, you know? And I think most civil rights activists would be proud, period. I'm very proud of it. Because that's how you get it done. You go and you protest and you give a positive message. And, you know, the days of doing this and just, you know, oh, woe is me and please help me, them days over, man. No. Listen, we need real change. And like I keep telling people, change comes through voting the right people in office. We have to understand how our justice system work and how the branches of government work, right? And how we get real change is through law and legislation. That's the only thing matter is law and legislation, right? Not no fake training, because it ain't about no training. Every time you hear people on TV talking about training, they just trying to put a Band-Aid over something. You can't train racism. You can't train people how not to be racist and prejudiced against Black and Latino people. You can't train that. You can't train people how to cover up the Breonna Taylor situation and Sean Bell and Michael Brown and Tamir Rice. You can't train that. The only thing you can do is vote the right people in office. And that starts at the top. I'm talking about this election, right? With the presidential election, the House of Representatives, and the Senate. We as a people need to get control of all of that, do our due diligence and be mindful of who we voting for and vote the right people in office, even on the local level. You can't be talking about prison reform and you ain't voting. You can't be talking about free my homie so-and-so, right? And then when he go on his appeal, he got the wrong judge in front of him. And the judge don't.
Yo, excuse me for something. Yo, man, you really kicking it to me right now. And, you know, listening to you, brother, you got me behind you 100%. I'm ready to fight with you. Let me ask you this. Is it brothers in the joint that is as good as you at speaking like this, brother? Or,
Yes.
Huh?
Yes. Yes.
Ooh, man,
Yes.
you're killing it, man. That's
Yes.
what I'm saying, man. It got the joint got to be a powerful place, man. The people in the joint, I mean, we got to get a hold of them and get them back out here because you out here now. And honestly, you saying more than me. I've been out here all this time, man. And you got me, you got a kung fu grip on me right now, brother. I'm ready to follow your music movement. I'm ready to follow your righteous movement. I'm ready to follow you, period, brother.
Listen, right?
Damn.
This makes simple sense to you and everybody in your listening audience, right? You can't be talking about free so-and-so, and then they go on their appeal and they have the wrong judge in front of them that's not fair and impartial, right? The only reason I'm sitting in front of y'all right now is because I had the right judges that did the right thing. You have to understand, I lost every single appeal from 1993 to 2013 because of the wrong judges did not apply the law properly and did not care about my innocence. So in order for us, when we go and vote, we got to put the right people in the House, the Senate, and we all must understand that the person that you vote for president of the United States, understand, he just don't appoint judges to the U.S. Supreme Court, right? Mm-hmm. This president has appointed over 200 judges to district court and to all federal courts. So that's over 200 judges. Now, you go look them judges up and you see what they working with, okay? You see what they working with, right? And you tell me, you come back to me and you tell me if you don't think it's important to vote. You come back to me and tell me if your family member or your friend is in prison, you talking about, oh yeah, free my man so-and-so or free sis so-and-so. Well, when she go up to that appeal and she get banged out for something she didn't do, or if she or he lose because their constitutional rights have been violated and they didn't receive a fair trial, and because their rights have been violated, they should receive a new trial, right? And they don't ask why. Don't ask why. If you're not understanding the local branches of government and how federal and state government work, you're doing your people a disservice and you're doing your community a disservice, period, point blank.
Each one teach one, man. You really teaching tonight, my brother. You teaching us a lot tonight. Hey, by the way, is one of your judges that judge that handled the Meek Mill's case with that lady, that black lady?
No.
You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
She was okay.
I have a question for the panel, particularly Jimmy and Lord. You can probably give a little bit more on this. We did a show about a month ago. Point of the matter is, what do you say for the young black male between the ages of 21 and 25 who says that voting is pointless, it's stupid? Why would I waste my time voting? It's no point. It's not for me. What do you say to that, Jimmy?
Well, he has to understand what Malcolm X said. Malcolm X said, every single thing that goes on in the world comes back around and is at our doorstep. And what he needs to understand is that the U.S. Supreme Court, right? They hear cases every month, every year with issues that affect his life and his family's lives. You know, Roe v. versus Wade dealing with abortion will be up for grabs again soon, right? And, you know, every single woman should have say-so over their body. That's their temple and their domain, no matter how you feel. It ain't for y'all to say, right? Period, point blank. So there are important issues that affect him that he don't even know about. And he and she should take the time to read and study these things, because now The information is just a click away. Like every single thing that we talked about tonight, every single thing that happened to me, all the legal opinions, everything that I'm dealing with now is just a click away. All this information that I'm talking to y'all and Big Tap about is just a click away. Y'all can look this stuff up. When I say that 200 judges have been appointed in this term to federal courts all over the country, that's fact, right? All you gotta do is go look, right? And you see what's going on with the U.S. Supreme Court right now, now that Ruth Bader Ginsburg has passed away, and they trying to appoint another judge up there. That affects you. That affects how we live in this country. That affects different college legislation and laws that have been passed that help Black people that have been stripped down and, you know, and thrown away, never to be seen again. We have to start to understand how local government works and how government works and how important our vote is, period.
Thank you so much, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Miss Fisher, Miss Chris Fisher, I saw some movement there when Jimmy was speaking. Did you want to go ahead and chime in, sis?
Well, everything he said is true. And just to throw a monkey in the wrench, so the system. So, I mean, we know this is spiritual warfare. So when you look at what's going on, as far as I'm looking at it, the system. If you're a believer, so see, there's people mix up believing and unbelieving. And if you know that you have the light in you, you know, then you're a believer if you believe in God. So the system is the world. So just like how God uses us, believe me, the devil is using people too. So those who you can't see, that's pushing that system to keep that light down. Because see, first it was, I talked about this morning with somebody and said, you know what? In the beginning was the word. And when God spoke, he spoke into darkness, and it didn't comprehend the light. The light took over. So when you think about us as Black folk, I look at us as being, we have the light in us. I can't say for everybody else who ain't Black, but I know for those who have a color on their skin, you have the light in you. So they are trying to suppress that light in bondage with everything that they do. So when you look at voting, you know, yes, we have to start at the local level because the POJ had another show, or it was with the chat, where they were talking about, you know, what level you need to start voting on to get these people out of here. But when your lack of knowledge, when you don't know, you're not going to vote. When you don't know, because nobody is telling you, or we are not speaking about it to our folks. It's not just the young people, it's us old folks who don't know crap either. You know, and we can't tell nobody because we don't know nothing, you know. So when we start to get, you know, it all starts with each individual, and we all know that, and we say it all the time. But when you in your house and you go out, are you really doing that? You know, when you getting, now that the president has coronavirus, that's another whole story.
Can't touch this. Boom, boom, boom,
For
boom.
the simple fact that he got coronavirus, that was planned. That was all a plan. That was all in the plan.
The systemic plan or the spiritual plan?
The systemic plan.
Okay.
Because it's always spiritual, but because he is in the natural, he had to catch a natural something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so in the natural, that's the way it's gonna have to go. When he first got it, I said, "Oh, I bet he's gonna get the coronavirus." Yep, there you go. They trying to get rid of him now, so we don't know how this is gonna end up.
It's gonna be a very interesting ride, everybody. Rashid, what you got to say, my love?
So now, we all know that the American public's main focus when it comes to voting has always been the executive branch, which is the presidential branch between the president of the United States of America. Now, it's never been on our local government, or the legislative, because I don't believe we have a real say in the judicial branch, the Supreme Court, and whatnot. But what we do have a say in is our legislative and our executive. Now, we the people have to use our our God-given right to then make that right decision to vote in people that actually have our best interests at heart. Because, say for example, uh, the people vote a certain way, but then your electoral college, your elected official, then decides to be swayed the other way, going against the people.
Right.
So you have to know, who are your elected officials and who actually has your best interest at heart and will not be swayed to go the opposite direction of what of what your purpose is.
Lori, did you want to chime in on that?
I do. And I want to chime in and kind of maybe just take it in another direction. Because, Jimmy, I could listen to you talk all night because you just put your words together beautifully.
Yeah.
So, as you
Thank
say,
you, sir.
we need to know, right? It's about enlightenment, as you say, Chris. It is about education, as you say, Jimmy, as you practiced in your life, right?
Yeah.
So I come from a family of educators, and being an educator myself, we just see that for Black and Brown people, the numbers of students getting higher education, getting things like their high school diploma are dwindling. How do we inspire this upcoming generation to recognize the importance of being educated?
Amen.
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say that something like that starts in our community, but starts in the home. But we need to teach our kids the importance of education, and that through education, through reading, that there's nothing that they can't accomplish. That's the very foundation of who you become to being with education. Like, I never, the entire time that I was in prison, even though I was taught the music business through my dad and from a young age and other people that I was around, I kept studying the music business the entire time I was in prison. So I would be up on all new and current laws going on, right? And so anything that you embark on, any career that you embark on, you should want to know like the back of your hand. You should want to know everything you need to know musically, and then the business side of it, whether it's radio, whether you're a carpenter, and it all starts and begins with education. You know what I mean? Some of the most successful people are educated. And that's not necessarily to say that you can't achieve anything if you aren't, but you'll have a greater foundation and understanding of getting where you want to get through education. And just let me say this right here also. There's a documentary that everybody needs to see. Ava DuVernay's documentary on Netflix called The 13th. Everybody needs to watch that to understand how this system is and how it goes down. The other thing I want to say is there are local elections, whether they in LA, New York, DC, and in Philly, that go on all the time with judges, with district attorneys, right? And all of us should want the right people in office, whether it be judges, DA, or mayor. Like in Philly, we have a good district attorney in Philly now that's helping innocent people get out of jail. And why you think they want him out of office? They want him out of office because he's helping innocent people get out of jail, and he's prosecuting police officers that are dirty and getting them off the police force. That's why they don't like him, right? So the game is that they trying to get somebody that's familiar to the community that everybody know, especially the Black community, right? That's the game. You got to be able to see the hook when it's right in front of your face and not go for the okie doke, right? You got somebody in place that's doing the right thing. Don't go for the okie doke and go with this dude because you familiar with his name because he done helped a few people come home. No, he doing the bidding of the people that you don't want him doing the bidding for. He's not your guy, right? And so this goes back to studying every candidate, knowing what their politics are, knowing what they really care about, and then holding them accountable. And if they don't do right by you the first time, you don't give them a second chance. You vote somebody else in and you give them a chance. But there are things that we can affect all the time.
I'm in yikes. What about you, Lord?
I so agree. I so agree.
Thank you, Jimmy, so much for your time.
Thank
I'm looking
you.
at the clock. We still got a little bit of train to chug on. So, Jimmy, I just wanted to say we probably got about 5 minutes left in our production time. And I just wanted to check in and just make sure again, we were able to meet your standards tonight, Mr. Dennis. What'd you say?
Oh, lovely, lovely, lovely. I feel blessed to be amongst y'all beautiful women and y'all gentlemen tonight. Thank you for having me. I appreciate being here immensely. Love from the bottom of my heart.
What about you, Lord? I know get in preparation because we just got a little more wrap up to do.
All right. I had a beautiful time. It was lovely. Thank you, Jimmy, for sharing your story. But even bigger, thank you for being such an inspiration and such a ray of light, right? Your words are so very eloquent and they speak so very powerful that your commitment to your community and to your fellow brethren is quite evident. And I think anyone who views this show will be able to see the impact that you are making and plan to continue to make to your community. So thank you for giving back and thank you for sharing some of your time with us tonight.
I know.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
We've got those platforms, Lord. We want everybody to we're going to do Blue and Skin I'm In again. If we can do a little outro with that. Is that okay, Rashid? But what I just wanted everyone again,
nice.
Spotify, iTunes, everywhere you could go to get music. This is what my people. SoundCloud.
Everybody needs to buy this song tonight. Tonight. Go buy it.
And thanks again. I just want to say to everybody, we've got the YouTube going. We got Facebook going, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Jimmy Dennis. We made it back into the studio. Thank you, Rashid. Lori and I haven't been in here in 7 whole months.
7 months.
My goodness. So I'm like, we had to kick off October right. You know what I'm saying? So yes, Jimmy, this is a whole new atmosphere. We're back up in here. We doing what we do. And it's like, I'm just like,
I'm glad you're back.
And to do it with you is just an honor. And it's so exciting. And your music is phenomenal. And we're just blessed and grateful. So Rashid, let's just party out. You know, I'm OG Compton style, so I like to get my boogie on. So
and remember, guys, vote. It makes a difference. Listen to Jimmy. Yes. It makes a difference. We have to have a voice in what happens to us and what happens in our community.
Tap. Before we go, I'm sorry about that, Rashid. Big tap. Any parting words that you want to say to your brother King?
Oh no, I just want to say thank you, man. I kind of, you all anticipated this night, and it was like more than we even thought it would be. So you know, it's like I'm in awe right now. I'm in awe, and
thank you, brother.
And you just killed it, Jackie, when you just did it. So nice. I'm gonna play it twice. You just killed it right there because it is so nice. And
fire.
Again, I get to speak to you more, so I ain't worried. My future looking good, just like you.
Jimmy, I need one commitment from you. Now, when you get that nomination for that Grammy, and you cannot forget the POJ show, so we can be on the red carpet, okay?
With the cheerleaders, we was cheerleaders, so I can totally do you right.
Oh, not with the pom pom.
Yeah. We'll be there. Watch out, Jimmy. I clean up pretty good. I can clean up pretty good. I look good on the carpet.
I'm sure you do, sir. I can imagine. I'm sure you do. Ain't no doubt in my mind.
You guys are
wild. Thank you so much. We enjoyed you. It was a great show. Chris, thank you for coming, hanging out with us.
Always a pleasure. Thank you. Good to meet you.
I'm seeing you on those.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Rashid. Big Tap, Lloyd, Jackie. Appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Jimmy.
Not a problem.
Love,
And
brother.
so let's hear Skin I'm In.
I know, this
Thank you,
is
Skin
fire.
I'm in.
That's fire. I love. Oh my God, this is fire, everybody.
I am one of the people who built the country.
That's James Baldwin.
Until this moment, there is scarcely any hope for the American dream. Because the people who are denied participation in it, by their very presence, will wreck it.
You wish to stay in the Cro-Magnon state. Change disarms you of your privilege. You fear me even when I don't seek to harm you. Cause you hate the skin I'm in. Hate the skin I'm in. You hate my beautiful, beautiful, beautiful black skin. 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 Don't wanna move the needle. You'd rather keep us in this place. A systematic chase. No more praying, begging, pleading, I'm telling you. Cause you hate the skin of me. Hate my beautiful, beautiful, beautiful black skin. 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 You hate my beautiful. You hate my beautiful, beautiful black skin. Hate my beautiful, beautiful, beautiful black skin. Hate my beautiful, beautiful black skin. Hate my beautiful, beautiful black skin. I love my beautiful, beautiful black skin. Yeah. Beautiful black skin. Love my beautiful. Nothing you could ever do can take away. Beautiful black skin. Love my beautiful black skin.
That is the bomb right there. That it is so catchy.
That part.
That is
That part.
catchy. I'm be saying that in the middle of the night. I'm be hearing myself.
Okay,
We're out.
We're out, guys.
All right, love you guys. Have a good night.
Have a good
Great
night.
to
Good night.
Jimmy. Talk to you
Later.
Good night.
offline.
Thank you. Peace.
Let's do it.
Thank y'all so much. Appreciate
Hey,
y'all.
Jim,
Yeah.
that thing was it was off the chain.